If you were to watch the Dr. Strangelove scenes between General Jack D. Ripper and Group Captain Mandrake with the sound off, you would be forgiven for thinking you were witnessing a moment of supreme military gravity. Sharp, aggressive shadows cutting across the room like prison bars, cigar smoke curling with conspiratorial intent, the claustrophobic framing of two men in a makeshift bunker while the world holds its breath. But then you turn the sound on and you realize that Stanley Kubrick has trapped you in a room with a terrifying punchline. The genius of this film lies in its insistence that the apocalypse will not arrive on the wings of a grand clashing ideology. It will not be capitalism versus communism or good versus evil. The end of the world, the script argues, will be triggered by a single man's insecurity about his own plumbing. The upcoming scene analysis is a commission from Karis Schuler, who asked me to look at the bodily fluid scenes between Mandrake and Ripper because of the movie's thematic similarities to my main show and because of its precisely calibrated black satire. Stay tuned to find out how you can get one. So we watch Ripper, a titan of American military might, drape a comforting arm around Mandrake. It's a gesture of paternal intimacy that feels more like a hostage situation. As Karis points out, the camera frames him throughout these scenes with the same ominous gravity Kubrick later used for Jack Torrance. He leans in and initiates a dialogue that should be about nuclear codes or troop movements. Instead, he asks, "Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?" In that moment, the scene cracks open. We realize that Ripper isn't fighting a geopolitical enemy, he's fighting a biological ghost. His obsession with purity, with essence, with precious bodily fluids is a magnificent, horrifying euphemism. He can't accept that his body is aging or failing him, so he projects that failure onto the global stage. He invents a conspiracy of fluoridation to explain away his own loss of vitality. It's a profound psychological observation. The man who feels small will burn down the world just to cast a large shadow. While Ripper is focused on the sacred nature of essence, fluids, and God, Mandrake is rather more focused on the profane, chewing gum, puffs, and cameras. Throughout the scene, Mandrake plays with a gum wrapper which becomes his psychological anchor. By focusing all of his energy on folding a tiny piece of silver paper into a perfect microscopic square, he's trying to maintain a shred of order in a room that has descended into total madness. It's the ultimate keep calm and carry on gesture. Ripper grabs a comically oversized machine gun from out of a golf bag and literally sweeps his desk clear. In one motion, he wipes away the paperwork, the telephones, the tools of communication, strategy, and bureaucracy. He clears away the messy business of thinking and replaces it with a phallic totem of destruction. He plops the gun down and screams at Mandrake to feed him. It's a demand that fuses the military with the sexual, a desperate plea for potency from a man who has none left. He has replaced his biological function with a mechanical one. He can no longer create life, so he will master death. But why? Why does a general decide that tap water is a communist plot? The movie gives us the answer, and it's one of the darkest jokes in cinema history. Ripper confesses his origin story. Mandrake, desperate for a timeline, asks when his theory began. Ripper answers 1946. The date is crucial. The war was over, peace had arrived, and for a man like Ripper, peace is a terrifying vacuum. Without an external enemy to fight, he was forced to confront his own internal biology. He confesses that he discovered the plot during the physical act of love. He admits that he felt a profound sense of fatigue and emptiness afterwards. Any doctor, or reasonable adult, would call this being tired. It's the natural biological come down after sex. But Ripper's ego is so fragile, so terrified of vulnerability that he couldn't accept it. In his prime, he could probably go again straight away. Then one day he couldn't anymore. He couldn't admit that for a few minutes he was weak. So he decided it wasn't fatigue, it was theft. He decided the communists had stolen his essence. He weaponized his own normal biology into a global conspiracy because he couldn't handle the feeling of being human and spent. From that day on, he denied women his essence. He chose isolation. He chose to become a fortress. And now he is launching nuclear bombers to ensure he never has to feel vulnerable again. In this moment, the hydrogen bombs and the B-52s are stripped of their strategic grandeur. They are revealed to be the overcompensation of a man who's terrified of the little death that follows sex, so he chooses the big death of nuclear winter instead. This lunatic is paired with Group Captain Mandrake, the embodiment of British civility. Mandrake is a man trying to use manners to defuse a bomb. He's the sane man in the asylum, but in Kubrick's universe, sanity is a handicap. While Ripper is armoring himself with bullets, Mandrake is held together by thread. I'm not talking about his leg, I mean mentally. The whole leg thing is fascinating. Necessitated by a real-life leg injury, I think it improves the scene vastly, not only because it's much funnier this way. Sellers is hurt, but my read is Mandrake is lying. He wants to take cover, he's not going to stand up in a room being peppered with bullets for this madman. And he's up and about pretty quickly once the threat subsides. Mandrake is competent and sane, but that doesn't matter anymore. He's a relic of a bygone era where wars were fought with manners and buttons and bravery, not psychosis. He tries to bond with Ripper, but you cannot negotiate with a hallucination. Mandrake's tragedy is that he treats Ripper like a colleague having a bad day, while Ripper believes he's a deity of his own making. The arc ends not with a bang, but with a bathroom break. And a bang. When the battle is lost, Ripper doesn't go down fighting, he goes into the washroom. He tells Mandrake he fears torture, not the pain, but the possibility that he might talk. He's afraid of losing control, of spilling his secrets, so he chooses the ultimate control. He shoots himself. It's the final pathetic irony. Mandrake suggested water might make him feel better, so Ripper killed himself in the shrine of water. He leaves Mandrake staring at a locked door, the secret code blown out against a mirror. This serves as the grim conclusion to one of the themes, ideological purity as a death cult. General Ripper, faced with the collapse of his external war, retreats into the final fortress, the afterlife. The scene juxtaposes Mandrake's desperate, fluid attempt to survive, bargaining, agreeing, placating, against Ripper's rigid, brittle commitment to his delusion. Ripper's suicide is not an act of cowardice in the traditional sense, but the ultimate act of preservation. He destroys the container, his body, to prevent the essence, the code, from leaking out. It is tempting to look at General Ripper as a relic of the 1960s, a caricature of John Birch society paranoia, but look around in 2025. We're living in the golden age of purity of essence. Scroll through social media and you will see an endless parade of influencers and alpha podcasters obsessed with seed oils, microplastics, testosterone levels and raw water. The specific boogeyman has changed. It's not always communists now, but the psychology is identical. We see the same obsession with bodily purity, the same fear of contamination by the modern world, and the same desperate, angry grasp for control in a chaotic environment. We still have powerful men who are terrified of their own biological or social inadequacy, transforming their personal insecurities into public policy or culture wars. When Ripper screams about children's ice cream being poisoned, it sounds absurdly funny, until you realize that if he had a Twitter account today, he'd have 10 million followers. By fixating on children's ice cream, Ripper reveals the totalitarian scope of his madness. To the paranoid mind, there is no sanctuary, no innocence. The enemy isn't just at the gates, it's in the sprinkles. In the end, the most terrifying thing about General Ripper is that he seems to have reincarnated with a cabinet position. As we stand in late 2025, we are watching a global superpower genuinely prepare to wage war on fluoride and staffing its military high command with figures who echo Ripper's distinct blend of aggressive, fragile bravado. People who discover the film now may not get the humor, as the themes have horrifyingly converged with reality over the last 60 years. In 1964, the audience could laugh because they assumed the adults in the room existed. They thought Kubrick was showing them a funhouse mirror version of reality. Today, it just feels like a regular mirror. But Dr. Strangelove remains a masterpiece because it tells us the uncomfortable truth. The systems we trust to keep us safe are only as stable as the psyches of the men who run them. All of us are just trapped in an office while a paranoid man with a gun tries to explain why he's afraid of a glass of water. Quick shout out to Karis. I hope you enjoy watching the video with your sons. If anyone out there would like me to analyze any scene from anything, please email the Upstairs Lounge at proton.me. There is a payment involved, or you could win one like Karis if you join Patreon. Back soon with more Andor. Until then, you better stay away from the ice cream just in case.